Whew. All right, all right. Let's get this party started, shall we? Okay, so today we'll be discussing January 6th and some of the usual subjects regarding what actually took place that day. We have some new footage that released, so I want you guys to take a look and let me know what you think. We'll take a look at the twice impeached, formally indicted, like over 90 times, ex-president Donald Trump and some of his nonsense in reference to January 6th in the Civil War, as well as Republican governors saying no to government-provided meals for kids summer 2024 and possibly 2025. 15 governors. 15. Well, let's go. All right. So, got some video that came in, and it basically shows what was going on inside the Congress chambers, where the people inside were barricaded and was trying to stop the rioters from coming in. And this particular video is it's kind of wild, so I guess fair warning. But let's take a peek at it.
We're sick of this, and we're making it known that we're sick of it. Okay?
30 years.
Would you? Huh?
And I've never had people act this way.
Say again.
I've been in law enforcement in Texas for 30 years.
Talk a little louder. That's because you've never seen corruption like we have seen this.
And let me run that back.
I've been in law enforcement.
So as you can see, that's Representative Troy Nehls, a Republican from Texas, and he's basically telling the people outside of the congressional halls, he's ashamed of them. Like, he can't believe it. He's been a cop for over 30 years, and he never seen anything as crazy as this. That's a Republican right there, hollering at them January 6th rioters. Let's continue.
Talk a little louder. That's because you've never seen corruption like we have seen this last month.
I'm ashamed.
And I'm ashamed of my Congress people. They don't even stand up for it. They're giving away my grandchildren and your grandchildren's freedom.
You need to back up.
Freedom is at hand. Go find another door, everybody.
Do you understand we're fighting for you?
You ought to put the guns down. We're not going to do anything.
Oath.
That's dumb.
The Constitution.
Breathe. Hey guys, you got to breathe.
You guys could get the same paycheck when the government gets replaced with real governors.
Yeah.
Good.
This is not going to be.
So, as you can see, yeah, they were getting pretty rowdy out there, breaking glass, breaking through the barricades, trying to get inside to do what for what, have no idea. What did they accomplish? Don't know. Quite ridiculous, waste of time. They're so pathetic. It's like, what did you do? What did you achieve that day, aside from a ton of you getting put in jail? It's like, you guys are so quick to just waste your life and die on these hills that no one else cares about. Like, do you hear these people when they talk? So, speaking of, who was that? Troy Nehls, the Republican congressman from Texas. I wanted you to hear what he was saying to the rioters, because he turned around and, you know, basically, you know, did a little flip flop. But before we go there, we're going to watch a little bit more video of what went down on January 6th. There was a lot of footage that's steadily being released. There was some that was released last year, but it was just a bunch of milk toast, you know. Now the violent stuff is coming out. Check this out.
Listen, these are good people. Look, brother, they're trying to do their job.
I don't want to get shot, man. Really.
Please. We want to do our part.
We want. Hey, what's your name? We just want our grievances redressed, like the Constitution says. That's all. That's all.
And we know we'll have no homes to go home to.
Look, man, this government's cost my family $400 grand, dude. I'm in the poorhouse over this stuff, dude. You know what it's like to just.
Did my man just say his family's in a whole 400,000 because of what? And he's in the poorhouse because of this? Like what are these people talking about? Like, how relatable? Let's continue this.
It's about to be on the fucking street, man. It sucks. It's not cool to go above 100. It sucks a lot, man.
Texas is one of the greatest states in this country.
They literally broke down the door and they had to barricade themselves in so they couldn't get in. What were they going to do? They're telling them, oh, no one's going to get hurt. Oh, but die, you know, Nazis, die communists, die Marxists, you know, hang Mike Pence. Going ham. Got nooses out there for who? Guillotines or such. Oh, like, just ridiculous. Bear spray spraying, hitting people with flagpoles. Like, my man got a gun at you. You think you in the right place? You think you're in the right? Nah, that had to. I don't know. I don't know what was going through their minds at that particular time, but I know. Some of them back in their minds, they knew they were wrong. They knew they was disgraceful, straight traitorous. It's ridiculous.
I'm in the house. We just want to check some shit out.
We are in this house, not you.
I can't hear anything right now.
Our house. You just fucking work for us. Your time has been fired now. You're doing a shit-ass job.
I'm 52, man. I got a 9-year-old. He deserves to grow up with a government that treats him right. And a 16-year-old and a 22-year-old, man.
Hey, I'll call you back, okay?
Dude's on the phone. Hey, man. I'll get back to you, man. I'm handling some business. Oh, I got to break this door down real quick. We're trying to get into Congress. Hold on. I'll call you right back. One woman talk about, we're doing this for you. How? What way? What are you doing? What are you accomplishing? They got his other man talking about he got kids and he's worrying about the government treating them right. How are they getting treated wrong? Yo, I mean, listen, by all means, I love the 90s. Oh, the 90s were amazing, especially to be a kid. I wish everyone could experience what I felt during that time. Now, granted, my mom's was in the military. You know, we were staying on installations. It's a different type of lifestyle. But I don't know. It seemed like the consensus was the 90s was pretty damn, it was off the chain. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Let's continue this just for a couple more seconds.
Somebody's on their phone with somebody.
To get here and stood in the cold for 3.5 hours to find out that Mike Pence is a fucking traitor, man. No. And I voted for that fucking dude. Insane.
So, that's what those people had to contend with that day. And there's more. There's more. There's way more footage. You know, y'all seen the other footage of people outside of the building, you know, trying to get in and such. You know, police officers being harassed and abused and, you know, assaulted all day long. All day long. So many injured. And these are the people that talk about they're back in the blue. These are the people that talk about personal responsibility. These are the people who talk about facts over feelings, and obviously they just can't handle the truth. They can't handle the facts. They can't handle nothing, man. These are the biggest snowflakes in the world. They literally stormed the White House. How weak can you be? And it's like there's nobody throwing, you know, pointing guns in your face. There's nobody riding around pulling you out of your house doing anything to you. Yeah. You're the biggest drama queens I've ever seen in my life. But getting back to Mr. Troy Niels. Okay. So my man basically going through that experience, he had a lot to say, right? So I wanted to just go by one of the first interviews he had, because I just wanted to show, you know, how Republicans will say one thing one time, and as soon as the political winds just shift, they'll say another.
One of the stunning images from the riots yesterday and the people invading the U.S. Capitol shows Capitol Police pointing guns at a door as protesters tried to burst into the House chambers. I want to draw your attention to the middle of this photo. In a blue shirt and a Texas flag mask is U.S. Representative and a former sheriff from the great state of Texas, Representative Nels. He was trying to negotiate with the mob as the Capitol Police attempted to keep them at bay with that piece of furniture in front of the door. This is a chilling image that really has gone out all across the world. Congressman Troy Nels, thank you for joining us to talk about what happened yesterday. I've got a lot of questions for you, starting with what was going through your mind in that moment.
Well, good afternoon, Marnie. It was really a shocking display of, you know, just violent protesting. We were all called. There was the opening session of Congress was at like 1 o'clock. And we were there to have meaningful debate over the issue of the day. And within an hour or so, what I noticed is that there were many personnel, uniformed police personnel, as well as plainclothes personnel. They all of a sudden swarmed into the House chamber and approached Speaker Pelosi and whisked her away out the back hallway.
So what is ClickUp? ClickUp is an all-in-one productivity software where you can manage everything and anything related to your work. Your documents.
Not using my premium.
The uniformed personnel then were there to help secure the doors. And there are many, many entrances leading into the House floor, as well as the gallery up on top. And it took many, many personnel to secure all those entrances. We were told, the members of Congress were told to just remain in our place and take a seat, and which many of us did. And then a few minutes later, an announcement was made that the Capitol building, the Capitol, has been breached, and there are protesters in the rotunda area. And that was just a shock. You could almost sense the fear and the anxiety with the personnel inside the House chamber. And then just moments later, I was at the center door. And that center door, those two doors in that photo, are the doors where the President of the United States would walk through when he is addressing the joint session for the State of the Union.
Reverence for the President.
And so those doors go right down the middle of the House floor. And that's where I was positioned. And I tell you something, the doors were locked, but boy, oh boy, when those protesters hit those doors, they were kicking them, they were hitting them hard. Their intent was to breach those two doors, and then disrupt and enter the House chamber. And I just couldn't allow that to happen.
Really?
Representative, you were wearing...
My man couldn't allow it to continue, he says. Holy cow. So I don't get it. I don't get it. He says all of that. And then November, because if I'm not mistaken, that interview was done obviously towards the beginning of the year. So it was either January, February timeframe. In November, he has an interview with Tucker Carlson on Fox News. At the time, Tucker Carlson was still on Fox News. And I could not find the footage. I tried pulling it up. What I was able to do was locate Mr. Neal's website. And as you can see here, November 2nd, 2021, Representative Neal's to Tucker Carlson, we need answers on the death of Ashley Babbitt. So if you didn't know, Ashley Babbitt was a former Air Force airwoman who decided to participate in January 6th protests. And, she was in the White House, or I'm sorry, Congress. I don't know why I keep saying White House. In Congress, and she got shot by one of the Capitol Police. Apparently she was trying to breach the inside and the interior. So where you saw there was barricades and there were people standing out with guns there pointing right at you, there was somebody apparently attempting to get through that, that partition, and she got shot, man. Unfortunately, very sad. You never want to hear anyone losing their life, especially over something as ridiculous as this. So, back to the story. Last night, Congressman Troy E. Nehls sat down with Tucker Carlson to discuss the botched investigation in the shooting and death of Miss Ashley Babbitt. In the interview, Congressman Nehls explained the discrepancies in the case and the need for further investigation. He says, when I was the sheriff, I've had officers, deputies who have shot and killed people. I've had deputies shot. I've had experience dealing with investigations and use of force issues. I have not talked to any officer anywhere across the country that felt what Lieutenant Michael Byrd did was justified. It wasn't Tucker, it was murder. The congressman went on to discuss the double standard in use of force investigations based on political alignment, which I don't even understand what that means. He said, Congressman Nehls says, I guarantee if the shooting would have taken place last summer in one of our large cities during the riots, there would have been an indictment very quickly. Really? So apparently there was no good intent for the killing of Miss Babbitt, according to Mr. Nehls. But as you heard him in the interview, people were scared for their life. And those people who were trying to get in were trying to disrupt, and who, God knows what, once they got into those chambers, if they would have gotten into those chambers. So, I just can't stand, the hypocrisy. He's talking about if the shooting was in the cities, how many people got off from shooting innocent people? Or should I say, at the very least, unarmed people? How many people got off? So for the simple fact that they were the only ones who was alive to tell their story. Zimmerman, anyone remember? What I never really understood? This is a little sidebar right here. And it may sound a little controversial, but I don't know. Where the gangsters at, man? Have I said this before? Like, where are the gangsters at? The gangsters that be on the block, and apparently, they feel they ain't got nothing to live for, you know what I mean? Or they feel like whatever they have to live for isn't much, or maybe, like they got a death wish. Maybe not all of them do, but for those of you who are out there in the streets and are extremely ignorant, really don't want to do anything impactful with your life, or feel like maybe it's already a lost cause and you're just, one more trip back. If you're on your third strike, What I'm trying to say, or you on your second strike, or you about you about to hit that third. Why don't you take out one of these? I don't condone no violence. I'm just saying. If you're gonna be a martyr, you know what I'm saying? Why not be a martyr for something? I guess all that sounds pretty egregious. I don't condone violence. I don't condone violence at all. I'm just saying, wow. At least do something. All right, moving on. Got a couple more stories here. We're gonna talk about Trump. Now, Mr. Trump has gotten a lot to say. I got a video of him at one of his recent rallies in Iowa, where he speaks about the true insurrectionists, as they are compared to those who rioted on January 6th in the Capitol. And I basically just want to show you a video of some more of the violence that was committed by his supporters on January 6th. So let's take a quick peek at this. It's kind of fun.
When you talk about insurrection, what they're doing, that's the real deal. That's the real deal, not patriotically and peacefully. Peacefully and patriotically.
What was peaceful about January 6th? Y'all see the footage? Hey, let me give you some more of that beautiful bean footage. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's real peaceful right there. Look at it, they just touring. It is, it's a nice stroll, nice little tour. Nooses. You know what I'm saying? Bear spray. How peaceful can you get? Fighting. Let's go back to what my man said.
When you talk about insurrection, what they're doing, that's the real deal. That's the real deal, not patriotically and peacefully. Peacefully and patriotically. Yeah. Spraying bear spray at the cops. Yeah. Tackling them. Breaking into. I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's just insane. It's just insane to me. Never would have thought in 2020, you would see something like that. 2021, like you would see something like that. We gone through we went through the 60s with all the craziness, the 70s with all the crazy, 80s, 90s. 90s things going 2010s, we're hanging in there doing our thing. 2020 come around and people lose their mind. And it's like, come on, you guys are missing a huge picture here, man. It's these corporations, man. You worried about, and your politicians, but it's these corporations that control these politicians, and that's why you're not getting the things you feel you deserve, or you do deserve, actually. And we'll expand on that a little bit, but man, I got some more Trump stuff, man. I gotta look at this, man. So apparently, Trump believed the Civil War could be negotiated. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Let's take a peek at this.
Spüren Sie den Puls New Yorks in den Rio Plaza Hotels in einer ausgezeichnten Lage in der
I guess
Nähe
I
von
really should
Times
get that
Square.
premium, huh?
Myth of the Civil War, which was the
That was the Majority Report. And they were discussing that same topic, but no, I just want to get straight to the video. Get that out of there. All right, let's hear what my man got to say.
If you take a look, the wars, I don't know what it is. The Civil War was so fascinating, so horrible. It was so horrible, but so fascinating. It was, I don't know, it was just different. I just find it, I'm so attracted to seeing it. So many mistakes were made. See, there was something I think could have been negotiated, to be honest with you. I think you could have negotiated that. All the people died. So many people died. That was the disaster if you got hit by a bullet in the leg.
you were essentially going to die or lose the leg. That's why you had so many people, no legs, no arms. If you got hit in the arm or the leg, it meant you were up because the infection, gangrene. It was just such a, sort of a horrible time. But I was thinking to myself, because I was reading something, and I said, this is something that could have been negotiated. It was just for all those people to die, and they died viciously. That was a vicious, vicious war. And in many ways, look, there's nothing nice about it. But boy, that was a tough one for our country. But I think it's, Abraham Lincoln. Of course, if you negotiated it, you probably wouldn't even know who Abraham Lincoln was. He would have been president, but he would have been president. He wouldn't have been the Abraham Lincoln. Would have been different, but that would have been okay. It would have been a.
Sorry, I gotta pause that, man. I'll be trying to let this dude just cook, man. If Abraham Lincoln had managed to negotiate what exactly, because there's states that were seceding from the Union. He had to control that, so they wanted their slaves. What negotiation was there going to be? That what? So when you say negotiation, you essentially mean there's going to be some sort of compromise. Where is the compromise when it comes to owning slaves? So what, they're not going to own slaves? And then what? I don't understand what this dude is talking about. Let's let him continue. Just got a little.
A thing that, and I know it very well. I know the whole process that they went through, and they just couldn't get along. And that would have been something that could have been negotiated, and they wouldn't have had that problem. But it was a hell of a time. And you think of it today, I would have absolutely stopped Putin. He would have never gone in, and he didn't. For 4 years he didn't. There was never even a thought of it going in, and that was the apple of his eye. He would tell me, we would talk.
Bruh. This guy, I just don't understand how anyone could listen to this person and honestly believe this person knows anything of what they're speaking of. Like, if you're a supporter of this guy, how do you listen to that and say, yeah, that's a smart dude right there. He knows exactly what he's talking about. I'm going to take this person's word over my family. I'm going to take that person's word over my friends, my colleagues, because apparently that's what the poll says, that, his supporters trust his word above everyone else in their life. It's a cult. It's a cult. All right. Not more, not less. Okay. Last story for the evening. I got to go grab me a bite. All right. So I remember when I was a kid, and the summer times would come. There were certain programs my mother would put me in, when I was living in Newark, New Jersey. You had the YMCA, you had, Boys and Girls Club, you had, you had quite a few. And, even during the school, summer school, yeah, I appreciated those meals I got. There were times where, I was eligible for free lunch. And there were times I wasn't, depending on my mother's financial situation or wherever we were at the time, but I have fond memories of really looking forward to that lunch or that breakfast or, whatever that was being provided at the school, because you show up with an empty stomach. Essentially, you don't always, not everyone has time to get up, grab a bowl of cereal. Sometimes you got to get up and hit the bus. You know what I mean? So you got to walk a little further to get to that bus stop, whatever. So you may not have the time to fit that in, and you may not have no food at home. So that food at school was the bomb sometimes, man. Man, fond memories. So to hear that there are governors of states that are essentially turning away money for food specifically for the children during the summer months, where majority of the programs are when school's let out, a lot of these programs go away.
because school's not in. So, where are these kids supposed to get this food from? Now you're stressing out the food banks and all this, trying to ensure that, these kids get to eat. But man, you gotta hit this story, man. All right, 15 governors in 15 states reject summer food money for kids. Republican governors in 15 states are rejecting a new federally funded program to give food assistance to hungry children during the summer months, denying benefits to 8 million children across the country. The program is expected to serve 21 million youngsters starting around June, providing $2.5 billion in relief across the country. The governors have given varying reasons for refusing to take part, from the price tag to the fact that the final details of the plan have yet to be worked out. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds, Republican, of course, says she saw no need to add money to a program that helps food insecure youth when child care obesity has become an epidemic. Please, anyone show me any peer review study, any correlation between food sustenance programs and childhood obesity. I'll wait. All right. And then we got Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen, Republican, said bluntly, I don't believe in welfare. But I bet you believe in corporate welfare. I bet you believe in, doing away with inheritance tax and death tax. And oh man, you guys are just, I cannot believe these people are turning away food from children. Republican leaders have been criticized for playing politics with children in need, but they argue it is necessary to revert to pre-pandemic spending levels. Like you care about spending. Republicans are liars. They don't give a damn about spending whatsoever. Oh man, they put us, if you look up the past Republican presidencies, past 20 years, look at how many presidencies, whether Democrat or Republican, of which put us in the deficit and which ones put us in surpluses. And you will likely see, Republican presidencies putting the country in debt, while Democratic presidencies typically took the country out of it. It's just the facts. All right. Move forward. Yes, it is sad. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack said, noting that the program has support from other states run by Republicans and Democrats. There isn't really a political reason for not doing this. This is unfortunate. I think governors may not have taken the time or made the effort to understand what this program is and what it isn't. No, Democrats, what you haven't done is you have not gone to those governor states and put out TV ads. You haven't went out there and went out to the communities and knocked on doors and literally told these people what these programs consisted of. If you have, I don't understand why it's not working. I don't understand why those governors have not been pressured. You think Republicans don't want their kids fed? You know what I'm saying? You think there aren't poor people in those states that voted for that governor who would have preferred their children get food during the summer months? When they're working, when they're trying to, do what they got to do to keep the bills paid, because rent has skyrocketed, mortgages have went crazy, and you guys trying to take away food? What is wrong with you? How are these people ever supported? Ever? All right, we'll give some of these numbers. In 2022, food insecurity rates increased sharply, with 17.3% of households with children lacking enough food, up from 12.5% in 2021. That is a huge increase of food insecurity in our country. In Oklahoma, for example, pandemic food relief money has been helping more than 350,000 children in need for the past 4 summers. Now that money has dried up with no statewide replacement on the way, and nonprofit assistance groups are scrambling to fill the gap. Oh my God. I'm going to see. So here we go. It is just heartbreaking, said Stacey Dykstra, chief executive of the Regional Food Bank of Oklahoma, noting that 3 and 5 school-aged children in her state who qualify for free or reduced cost lunches at school would be eligible for the new program. Many children this summer won't have access to the food they need. It is really scary and gives me goosebumps just saying this out loud. Other states declining to participate is Alabama, Alaska, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Louisiana, Mississippi, South Carolina, South Dakota, Texas, Vermont, and Wyoming. 4 of these states, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and Wyoming, are among the 7 that have not fully extended Medicare eligibility to low-income individuals either. So not only are they not taking care of their children, they're not taking care of the elderly, the disabled, anyone who needs help. These states, these governors of these states do not care about you. Why are you supporting them, Republicans? Why are you supporting them, independents and conservatives? Or, some of you conservative Democrats. Like, I just don't understand. Their policies suck. They have no ideas. They bring nothing to the table. And yet you still support these people. I just don't get it. All right. So, hey, man, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to be doing some more things in the future in regards to this podcast. I appreciate everyone who watched. I will be pushing this out more in the future, but right now I'm just, trying to get this content out for you guys. I really appreciate you guys watching, and, till next time. All right.